If you look at the history of human civilizations, you'll find that we tend to gravitate toward major bodies of water. Coastal cities and riverside towns dominate both ancient civilizations and modern metropolises. The reason? Humans need water not only for our bodies, but for basically everything else we do, too. So when it comes to where we should land humans on Mars, NASA has found the obvious choice. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the potential subsurface glaciers on Mars and why they make a perfect place for humans to start on the red planet. Is there water on Mars? The existence of water on Mars has been a topic of study for decades. Through rigorous topographical study and rover samples, scientists have been able to conclude that there is very likely ice beneath the Martian surface. Ice that could be drilled into and turned into the liquid water needed for so many human operations. In 2019, NASA released a so-called treasure map of subsurface glacier ice deposits that theoretically could be reached with just a shovel. An area called Arcadia Planitia is what you may think of as the X on this treasure map. Arcadia Planitia is a large, flat area perfect for landing a spacecraft. Additionally, the paper points out that there are fascinating, sinuous, flowing glacier-like features below the Martian surface in Arcadia Planitia. These sinuous glacier-like features seemed unfamiliar at first, but then scientists turned their attention back towards Earth and considered if it resembled any feature we may observe down here. They found that these mirror the appearance of streams of ice within ice sheets in glaciers on Earth. The leading author of the report, Shannon Hibbard, points out that these aptly named ice streams can exist with no obvious control from surface topography. Another study appearing in Nature Astronomy also identified this area as a strong contender by combining datasets from various machines and studies conducted over the last 20 years. The paper is part of a project called Subsurface Water Ice Mapping, or SWIM for short. SWIM is conducted as a joint effort between the Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Arizona, and is managed by NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab in Southern California. Richard Davis, the lead scientist guiding NASA's efforts to establish usable Martian resources, has said that the next frontier for Mars is for human explorers to get below the surface and look for signs of microbial life. If there is, in fact, microbial life on Mars, there is strong reason to believe that it will be discovered near any existing subsurface water. The research team has stopped short of definitively declaring that the features near Arcadia Planitia are, in fact, ice streams. Hibbard added that it is possible that at some point, subglacial water was present at this location on Mars, but it's unclear how much and for how long. The combination of possible ice streams mixed with the relative flatness of the site makes it almost perfect for landing a craft of humans to try and colonize the planet. So why is it so important to consider water when landing on Mars? Why water on Mars? Water matters because water is life. We need to drink it to survive, and beyond that, we use water for so much of our everyday lives. Water on Mars will be crucial to supporting efforts at growing crops and establishing agriculture. Water will be needed to create rocket fuel for the rocket's return trip to Earth. Water will be required for so many daily tasks and routines. Well, if water is so important to colonizing Mars, why don't we just bring our own? Bringing enough water to Mars is almost entirely unfeasible. Water is heavy, and beyond that, transporting tremendous tons of water through space would be expensive and dangerous. Top all of that off with the fact that schlepping all that water to Mars isn't exactly a very sustainable model. All of this comes back to the importance of identifying the presence of water on Mars and ensuring that humans are able to access it to maintain their mission and eventually return to Earth. But is the water the only reason the spot is perfect for human landing, or is there more to it? What else makes Arcadia Planitia a good landing spot? Arcadia Planitia is located right between the planet's northern polar region and the equator. If you were to compare it to Earth, it would be roughly where Canada and Europe fall between the North Pole and the equator. This region is the perfect balance between the possible frozen caps on the poles and the area near the equator where the planet gets the most sunlight and warmth. Striking a balance between the northern tip and the heated middle will be another important factor in establishing a human presence on Mars. While the planet is similar in many ways to our own, it's still further from the sun and therefore experiences different temperatures and hours of the day. The plains of Arcadia Planitia would be extremely beneficial to adjustment for humans on Mars, as it appears to be an area that would more closely resemble something we might experience on Earth. This northern mid-latitude region also presents a benefit to the literal act of landing the spacecraft. Mars' atmosphere is only equal to 1% of Earth's, so a spacecraft entering Mars' atmosphere needs all the help it can get when it's trying to slow down for a safe landing. This northern mid-latitude region is at a much lower elevation than other parts of the planet, meaning that the spacecraft will have a longer distance between entering the atmosphere and touching down on the surface to slow the descent. What challenges remain for establishing a landing spot? Even with 20 years worth of combined data, there's still a hesitancy to declare that the features are subsurface ice. While the SWIM research team was able to fill in a lot of blanks, they still have a lot of holes in their data to fill in. The trouble is that each machine generally performs an extremely specific purpose, and none of the machines were designed to measure ice directly. Each orbiter instrument detects different physical properties such as high concentrations of hydrogen, radar wave speed, and surface temperature changes. These different properties suggest the presence of ice but stop short of actually measuring for it. Despite having 20 years of data and a fantastic range of instruments, it's hard to combine these data sets because they're all so different, said Gareth Morgan, the SWIM project co-lead. The various data sets complement each other well, but they've left some information still to be desired. These blind spots do still present insight. Now NASA scientists are hard at work figuring out how to fill in those gaps in the data set. After all, it can be tough to look for something if you don't know what you're looking for. Not only are scientists getting closer to firmly establishing the presence of subsurface ice, they're also closer to identifying important mineral deposits. These ice and mineral-rich areas will be crucial to supporting long-term inhabitants on Mars. So, how much longer will it be before we can confidently send some humans to Mars to get cracking on the subsurface ice? When will we confirm water on Mars and send humans? Depending on who you ask, there are various theoretical timelines for establishing a human presence on Mars. Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, plans to have an established and operational colony on the Martian surface by 2040, with astronauts having already made trips there and back years before. Other scientists posit that we're still way too far off technologically to effectively establish a community on Mars. At this moment, billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson seem to be engaged in their own personal private space race. While much could be said about the astronomical absurdity of privatized space races, pun intended, it does appear that we're on the cusp of a new age of space travel. Much like the competition between the United States and the Soviet Union in the 1960s, it seems that the desire to outdo one another is rapidly propelling innovation to the stars. Would you want to be among the first colonizers traveling to the surface of Mars and establishing humanity's presence? Do you think you could handle the potentially 2-year-long journey through space in order to get there? Let us know in the comments below why or why not. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check back for more tech news.